Our first member's motion tonight is titled Affirming the Park Board's Commitment to Transgendered Lives and Rights. This motion was moved by Commissioner Digby. We'll need a seconder before we can introduce that. Commissioner Bastiovansky, thank you. Commissioner Digby, I'll give you 5 minutes to introduce your motion. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The motion before us aims to reaffirm the Vancouver Park Board's commitment to transgender lives and rights and to gender diversity in Vancouver. Now, I'm raising this issue right now in light of this board's decision, this table's decision to host a Harry Potter themed event in Stanley Park, which is due to open next month. Now, the reason these two issues are connected is because as commissioners have become amply aware in the past few weeks, it turns out that the original author of the Harry Potter series, JK Rowling, has since 2018 taken very public political positions seeking to limit the rights and opportunities of transgender, gender diverse, and two-spirit people in the UK, in Canada, and other countries. She has stated that she will use her wealth generated from the Harry Potter franchise to continue these political activities. Now, I don't want to platform her ideas and her opinions, so I'm not going to describe her political views here. Let me say that in several cases, her views and her activity has impacted Vancouver and the Lower Mainland directly. And separately, I have circulated a memo to commissioners of my research into JK Rowling in advance of this meeting for their own consideration, and they have had the opportunity to brief themselves on what this person says and stands for. Now, the motion before you aims to take concrete steps to ensure that there is no confusion about where the Park Board stands regarding the lives and rights of transgender, gender diverse, and two-spirit people in Vancouver. Now, looking at the motion, the first part of the motion here calls for this board to apologize for the harm caused to TGD2S people and their community and the broader Vancouver community by hosting of the Harry Potter event. This part reiterates that we unequivocally support the lives and rights of TGD2S people. It also publicly disavows JK Rowling's political activity and recognizes the harm that causes globally. Now, personally, I believe the harms are clear and unmistakable, and I think it would be most useful for us today to privilege the voices of the TGD2S community and hear from representatives of those two organizations who happen to be in the audience tonight and who are deeply involved in supporting the TGD2S community.
Hello, my name is Rob Hadley. I represent the 2SL LGBTQ Advisory Board, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to speak to you. The 2SL LGBTQ Advisory Committee provides advice to Vancouver City Council and staff on issues impacting lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, two-spirit, and other gender and sexually diverse communities in Vancouver. 2SL LGBTQ plus community members have brought to our attention various concerns about the Parks Board's decision to commission an event centered on the work of JK Rowling. As many of you may be aware, Rowling's widely publicized comments about transgender people have caused significant distress for many transgender and non-binary individuals globally and including here in Vancouver. Although the Park Board has taken important steps towards transgender inclusion, as outlined in the report from the Trans and Gender Variant Inclusion Working Group, many in our community tell us they remain deeply concerned that the board is giving a platform to a high-profile figure they feel has consistently amplified negative messages about transgender individuals. While we recognize that the broader public may not be fully aware of JK Rowling's views and actions on this issue, the decision to feature her work in a publicly funded event risks overlooking or minimizing the lived experiences and concerns of many transgender residents in our city.
Thank you so much for coming here, actually. And I'm really sorry for what has happened. Just a few quick questions, and excuse my ignorance, because I've never read the books. Have you read any of the books?
I have. I bought them. I read them to my children. They love them. We do not have a problem with the books.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking for myself,
Yeah.
but I'm sure the board would echo this. We're not interested in telling anybody what books they should read. We just don't agree with this particular individual's transphobic and Holocaust denying stand on a lot of other issues. I don't think we would go to her for medical advice. We wouldn't go for her political advice. And in the question of gender, no one should be going to someone like this. So the fact that public money or opening a facility where she might benefit, that's where the problem lies. We're certainly not in the business of telling people what they should read or what events they should go to. But to be aware of who this really is our key issue here.
And the event itself, from what I gather, it's celebrating the books though, and not the author, I'm guessing, right?
That's fair enough, but we do wonder, okay, where do the revenues go?
Okay.
And in terms of our community, I think there's a fairly widespread understanding that people are not going to be very happy about this. And you're probably aware, transgender community can be somewhat vocal. So, we'd like to avoid these issues.
And I think it's fair to say that Vancouver is a multicultural community, and you guys are part of our community.
Very much so.
It's our community, right? So
yeah. I would also highlight, actually, on that, as far as 2SL, and as far as those members of the LGBTQ community, and particularly the trans community, who are essentially not white, they are massively exposed. Now, a lot of people who have read the Harry Potter books have done as I have, and put those books up for sale, sold them secondhand, and donated the funds to transgender charities such as, to Community, to Sage Food Bank, and various others. So, we are a fairly politically motivated group and somewhat informed. And obviously, we do realize that most members of the public have absolutely no idea that JK Rowling...
And a lot of people are excited for this event. Yeah,
they are. I personally, and I'm not speaking for the board here, but personally, I can't help thinking there may have been other options that could have been chosen that might have been somewhat more wholesome, where the revenues generated went towards something which might be more palatable for everybody.
And your community wasn't consulted before this event was going to come?
I think there was a degree of oversight.
Probably.
It was, we simply never got engaged. Frankly, the first time we heard of it was when CBC started to light up our phones. And as you can well imagine, that was a bit of a shock for all of us. That was the first we heard of it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kai Sargent. I am here currently representing Community, one of the largest charities in BC serving two-spirit, queer, transgender, diverse people in BC. This statement is being delivered on behalf of Community. For us, and me personally, learning that this decision was made in ignorance rather than malice was a bittersweet realization. While it is very encouraging to know that this was an honest mistake, it is also very emotionally difficult to reckon with how many of our allies in our community do not know that JK Rowling has been one of, if not the most single influential person on earth leading the charge against transgender rights and the backlash that we've seen over the last many years. There is a lot of emotion that has really come up through this. And I don't necessarily know if there's anything that can be said that is going to make people happy, but I do know that there's a lot that can be said that will make it much worse. And I don't think it's the desire or the interest for anyone in this room, myself included, to see political action taken against the park board that is going to further erode the trust in the relationships that we have built, when I know personally, and that so many people have benefited from so many years, and such a beautiful trend of collaboration and just improved working relationship.
Rick Earl, but I am a member of the 2S LGBTQ plus advisory committee, but my comments are my own as opposed to representing the committee. By now, you've gotten an earful on how hosting Harry Potter, a Forbidden Forest experience, has undermined trust between Vancouver Parks and Recreation and trans, gender diverse, and two-spirit individuals and the 2S LGBTQ plus community in general. Had the Harry Potter event been brought to a park board committee meeting, as all such new events are supposed to, input from the 2S LGBTQ plus community would have hopefully persuaded Park Board to distance itself from the production, because you would have heard how royalties from Harry Potter themed productions helped to fund the disastrous anti-trans campaign of author JK Rowling. Do not let this sort of thing happen again. Do not ever make such significant decisions in secret. Otherwise, you once again risk doing harm to a marginalized community.
Commissioner Bastiansky, go ahead.
I want to thank Commissioner Digby for bringing this and our guests tonight. Greatly appreciate you coming here and sharing your stories with us and the opportunity for giving us the opportunity to listen and to ask questions and some specific action items for us to move forward with to show support. Our parks and community centers and cultural spaces, they're not just amenities. These are meant to be safe havens where everyone should feel seen and respected. And this board, has consistently supported equity and inclusion, and that work continues today. And so is our learning of how to actually support marginalized groups. And we can't ignore the reality that the author of this story has publicly advanced views that many in our trans community experience as harmful, dismissive, and exclusionary. That pain is real. And when we as a city program these types of events, we need to acknowledge that.
Commissioner Jensen.
Thank you. I echo everything that Commissioner Vasilvancy just said, but I didn't want my voice to not be set heard as well. And I wanted to thank all three of you for coming here. I've been really moved by your words, by the words of all the emails that we've heard, the lived experiences, the hurt. And so on behalf of myself, I do apologize. And I thank you again for being here tonight. Thank you. And thank you.
Commissioner Verdi.
I think no community should ever be marginalized or disrespected. And we at this board approved this on consent. I wish I had more information. I had no idea. And if that was the case, I think things wouldn't have gone the way they did. So I also want to apologize. And I hope to work together in the future and have your input so this doesn't happen again. So thank you.
Commissioner Digby.
Yes, thank you. So thank you to our speakers for helping us understand. Thank you for the many, many emails we've received and texts, and all of us. Well, I know many of us have been approached by family members, friends, and a much broader community that are deeply affected. And your representation of that community tonight has been extremely helpful. Of this motion, there's multiple parts to it. To me, the most important part is the apology that goes out to the community, to the TGD2S people and their community. And I hope that with the actions that we have listed and the rest of this motion here, that in due course, you will find a way to accept the apology. That rests in your hands. And I think the obligation is on us at the park board, to convince you that this apology is real and will lead to concrete actions to support your lives and rights. Thank you.
Any further comments from commissioners? Otherwise, I'll call a vote by a show of hands. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.